Hello and welcome to another interview of the Online Echo, part of the Grassroots International Students Festival From Ego to Echo, creating ideas for a collective change.
This is Ramia and I'm Luik, and joining us today is Jan from the Czech Republic. So for starters, you can just tell us a little about yourself and the organization that you're working for.
Well, I'm working, like as Luik said, my name is Jan and I'm working in one NGO that supports activists. In our case, it's in Belarus. We are trying to support them in many ways. I think that we will have a chance to talk about it later, but well, yeah.
So this is a question that we ask everyone we interview. So what do we mean when we call someone an activist, and do you consider yourself to be an activist, and why?
Well, it's a good question. I don't consider myself an activist. I'm working in an organization that helps activists. I think that for me to be an activist, it means that you really take active part in what's happening in the society, and you are trying to change it in a way you feel is best for the society. So in this regard, I wouldn't call myself an activist, but I would say that this is really good to be active part of the society. I mean, like, if you are an activist, you are doing something that should help people.
Okay.
So what kind of, some examples maybe? I don't know how many activists you're working with, or like what kind of projects are there?
Yeah, well, we are working with what we could call grassroots initiatives, people who gathered in order to do some projects or to change something in their society. I mean, the way they are no professionals. Most of the time, they are people who kind of feel the need to change something in their city or in their surroundings or in society. Even some of them have these ambitions, and so we are working with mostly people who are doing self-help groups. For example, we are working with one initiative that is trying to bring into the society the idea that the kids with the Down syndrome should have fair access to the education, for example, in Belarus. Or in Belarus, there's lots of questions about the double language standard and the maybe equality of the both languages that are there, Russian and Belarusian language. And there are people who are trying to promote Belarusian language as the equal one to the Russian one. So that's another initiative that we are working with. We've been helping some children hospices. We are working with ecological initiatives that are either protecting or trying to protect the nature in Belarus. We are working with the urban initiatives that are trying to develop, for example, cycling infrastructure or infrastructure for people to be more safe in their cities. So this is also one of the kind of the initiatives that we are working. And we are also working with initiatives that are trying to, I wouldn't say like to oppose the regime, but the ones that are doing things that, for example, there are closed archives in Belarus about the repressions of the 1920s and 30s. They are trying to get the access to those data, and so from social things to political, ecological, urban, we don't kind of choose the initiatives on, like, our choice is not based on the topic they are doing. For us, it's more important the thing that they are trying to do, they are trying to learn, they need our help, and this way we are trying to help them with whatever they are trying to achieve or change.
But so one thing that interests me is the context of to being an activist in a state like Belarus. So
Mhm.
so I would imagine that the work that you're doing is not seen in a good light by the state, and that it has to be quite tough, or like there has, like I imagine that there are quite limited what the person can do there, or how is the situation with the state's does the state really actively try to hinder these projects, or have you had any trouble, like I imagine that you have had?
No, I kinda, to be honest, myself hadn't any problem in Belarus. Of course, our activities in Belarus are watched. We are being followed time from time, but never happened something that would kinda be like countermeasure in what we are trying to do from the side of the government institutions, police, secret services, nothing like that. Activists have it a little bit different. It really depends on which topic you are trying to do, which fight you choose to start, because it really influences the reaction of the government. Sometimes when you're trying to push something on, I would say, like local level, and it really depends on the topic, but like I would say that there is no direct prosecution if you are trying to do social things. You are mostly ignored by the state. In the worst case scenario, there can be some, I would say, it's hard to how to tell it.
And has there been like a positive influence where the government kind of helped or supported those initiatives?
That's kind of double-edged sword for the initiatives, because they in a way are supplementing the state, like especially the social oriented or even healthcare oriented initiatives. They are doing the job that state is saying that they are ready to do, but mostly they don't, because otherwise there wouldn't be need for those initiatives to even exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so the state is using them for creating kind of myth that state is here to cooperate and they are ready to work, but mostly they are using them as a easy access to the projects from international donors, and doesn't usually the state or the state institutions doesn't help those initiatives. And if you don't bring the projects there, you are not so interesting for them to be even partner with you on some project, because for them it's lots of work and for like administration and money and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So the partnership with the state in Belarus is interesting for the state only in the case that you are bringing something into it. So in this case, it's sometimes better for the initiatives to be out of this partnership with the state.
Okay. And what kind of support do you give those initiatives and individuals who seek for your help?
Mm-hmm. Well, we are trying to make it, you can call it tailor-made, the way they feel the need, or the things that they feel they are lacking the knowledge in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are mostly working with, you can call it like organizational development, or like in this case institutional initiative development. We are trying to teach them how to plan their activities, how to communicate with journalists, for example, if they feel the need that they are lacking the knowledge how to bring the ideas or like ideas for a change into the public. So we connect them with journalists, we show them how to communicate with them, how to write press releases and so on. and we are helping with planning, with some organizational things like better communicate, for example, how to set up the communication and responsibilities among the members of the initiatives, how to invite volunteers to your organization, because it's not just like that you are writing, yeah, we need volunteers for that, but it's more complex topic to work with, because volunteers are quite fragile thing to work, and you really have to think about how you will invite them, how you will work with them, how you will manage the process, like many processes that are connected with volunteering. So this is part of our work, and of course we as a part of the process of learning, we are supporting them with the mini grants and like small projects, because I kind of feel that it's really important. If they want to do something, they should learn something. They should do it, like learn it by doing it. So this way, I believe it's also working most of the time, and yeah, that's what we do in Belarus at this moment.
That's amazing. And
well, I don't know.
well, it definitely sounds exciting. And my next question would be about your projects. Like, apart from support, do you offer like trainings, or the nature of the projects, and how the pandemic has kind of affected that? Because
Okay.
there has been like a sudden shift. Everything has been online now, and how did that affect your workflow and projects?
Okay. Yes, we are doing workshops. We are doing trainings.
Okay.
We are making what we call joint workshops, when we put more initiatives together to share knowledge, to exchange ideas, and sometimes there's just the thing that many initiatives lacks particular knowledge, so it's easier for us to do it. This way, our project's been hit quite hard, I would say, because in Belarus the situation is quite specific, because as the government claims, there is no coronavirus in Belarus, and like it was long time, it was kind of pretending the problem doesn't exist, although they were already preparing measures to deal with it and so on, but they didn't want to cause a panic, but that's exactly what happened. And although they were not prohibited, we were not prohibited like from creating or organizing the workshops, people were scared to come them because they lacked the information. It was lots of fake news in the news. It was lots of kind of misunderstandings, and this caused a lots of I would say lots of troubles, and people were scared to go somewhere. Who could stayed at home and did some home office. So this way we couldn't do our workshops, for example. So we moved online because we were preparing 5 projects with these initiatives for the public campaigns and like the civic campaigns in Belarus. Each of these initiatives wants to change something in their society or show some problem that there is in society. And so all the planning of these campaigns we had to move online, and at the initial part, which was quite hard, because I feel that especially in this beginning of the process of planning, it's quite important to meet, to share, to discuss these things. And for example, some initiatives, they have like 4 members, and it was hard for them even to find the time to meet online to discuss things. So it was a really long and hard process. But now we are able to do offline trainings again, so I hope the coronavirus fear is over, and the initiatives that's already planned there activities and their campaigns can start actually doing them at this moment.
And so this is all offline, also the regular traditional offline activism, but nowadays one can also speak about online activism. And I mean, I don't know how influential, or is it something widespread in Belarus, or was it something that was adopted maybe by by activists there?
Well, from the group that we are working with, I wouldn't say they are more aiming towards offline activism, like every civic campaign has the media part, of course, or the online part, if we call it that way, that you are working with media, that you are working with people on social networks, that you are trying to reach the people and to support, in order to support you in your cases. So in this way, this part is there, but I won't say it's not the vital one. And because and we are trying, when we are discussing the plans for the campaigns, we are always trying to talk with them in a way that only numbers on the social networks are not enough. It's in these times it's quite easy to get, I don't know, 200 subscribers for your group on the, I don't know, Facebook, for example. But how to use these 200 people to do something, there's always should be some call to action, in a way to, okay, you read this article, you are angry because there is some problem, and the initiatives or activists always should kind of tell or show people what they can do with it, because otherwise you are just gathering numbers. You are not working with your target group or with the people that want to support you in a way, in this moment. So that's why we are trying to create a space where initiatives can actually meet the people or work with the people offline, because I believe, especially in Belarus at this moment, the online part is important also, but what initiatives are really lacking at this moment is the connection with their supporters. It's usually a group of friends or group of colleagues or group of activists that know each other, and at this moment it's really important, especially with the things that are happening in Belarus, where people are getting more and more active politically in society. They are trying and they are searching for ways how to change something. Lots of them are just unsatisfied with the regime. They are, especially before the presidential elections now, and they are trying to find a way how they can do something, because it was there were times when to find active people who want to change something was really hard. At this moment it's not hard, but you always have to kind of have the answer for the activists. How can I help you? Like the people who are coming to you, how can I help you? So this is something that we are trying to work, regardless if it's online or offline, but this is the most important thing to work with the people, because with the people you have the power.
And this is exactly the topic of the next year's festival. Hopefully it will happen. And what do you think young people and students should do in order to get more involved and try and change things?
Whoa, that's a good question. What you should do? I don't feel that confident that I should tell young people what they should do. I would say just be active, whatever way you feel that you want to be active, regardless the problem. If you are scared about the climate change, or if you care about your elders, or if you care about, I don't know, lost dogs, doesn't matter. Be active, try your best, discuss it with people, share. That's if you are really caring about something, you always trying to bring more people to people to understand that there is some problem, right? So just gather people around, and I believe that there will be lots of ideas created in the process. What can you do? Well, because that's always the question, what can we do with it, you know? Because we see lots of problems in our society. What can you do with it? So, and the answers will come in this process, I believe. If you talk with people, if you try together, discuss things, that's, I believe it's really great. Try things, whatever you feel is good for you.
But you mentioned that the people are becoming more active in Belarus, and that it's so it's getting, so the situation is getting better, and but what I wondered was, do you have an idea as to why it's getting better now, or is there something specific that?
Because the situation gets worse. The overall situation in Belarus gets worse, especially before the presidential elections now that are at the beginning of August. For a long time in Belarus there was, we can call it status quo, that government told people, yes, we are not the richest country in the world, but you are safe here, you have some social benefits, social security, and working health system. Coronavirus showed them that government is lying, that government doesn't have money, doesn't care, doesn't have the institution, and that even the doctors doesn't have the support of the system or the government. And lots of the people were living with the idea, yeah, we are not the richest country, but there is some security, like social basic human security. And this has changed because people could see that all these were lies, and more people started to distrust the government, let's call it that way. And the anger, the frustration maybe started to create groups of people who are willing to be more active in the society, and they are trying to change things around, because what we've been working with, the people and initiatives we've been working with in the last years, were the ones who kind of saw the problems and tried to do it. Now there is more open discussion about the problems in society, but more repression at this moment. Really, like big repressions, and demonstrations are being overridden by the police and so on. So lots of people and journalists are being detained and so on. But in this atmosphere, people are searching for ways, for information, for true information about their country, for the information what they can change or which problems they can try to help to. So as the situation gets worse in the country, people are trying to be more active. But for me, like, I believe there my work stops. Like, I believe that these changes, these problems should be the Belarusians to deal with. Like, there's lots of criticism about organization like ours, for example, that we are influencing people, that we are telling them what they should do and how they should do it, and we are always trying to do it with the, like, as a partnership. But I believe that the situation in Belarus as it is now, my job should stop at this moment, and Belarusians should do.
It's up to them.
Yeah, well, in the end, it's their country, their lives, their society, you know. And I believe that this is the experience that even I, as you were asking me, what would I advise young people to do? I can't tell Belarusians what they should do. You know, it's yeah. For me, it's the same thing.
And last but not least, you've been also here as a volunteer in Greifswald, and would you let us know how has it been for you?
How was volunteering in Greifswald? Great, actually. It was a really great experience for me, because I was volunteering in small projects in Czech Republic. We are helping to organize TEDx conference or like small things like that. But 1 year experience working in a StraZe and helping to build this huge house with lots of people and huge amount of projects around. For me, it was really interesting to meet the people, to share this experience with them, and to feel. And for me, it was like the part of being something bigger. You know, you are volunteering in project that is somehow bigger than you, and that's amazing. Like you are helping to do something, change something in the city, and because this project has the ambition to create something new and change the ways that we gonna think about these kind of VG projects or house projects. Yeah, this is something bigger. There's a big wall. There are lots of organization connected to this, and this is something I believe we don't have, for example, in Czech Republic. Like this scale, so many people, so many projects, so many ideas. Like this is something incomparable to my experience. So for me, it was fascinating experience. You have more questions?
Unless Ulrich has questions.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had a similar experience seeing the StraZe and seeing that, yeah, wow, like that's quite big, and I haven't seen anything like that in Estonia either. So
Yeah.
it's quite the contrast to Belarus, I would imagine, especially to have something so big and so open.
And interconnected as well.
Yeah.
It
Like
is huge.
just a number of people, like in the huge circle of StraZe. Like the StraZe is like the roof above it all, but like there's so many people around it, and that's I really don't know about the project, this size and this influence on the city. Like the initiatives there are working with the volunteers, ecology, LGBTQ, or whatever communities. You know, that's lots of things that are connected with it. So the reach is huge, and will be even bigger, I believe.
With the opening.
When it will be finished, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you so much for the interview.
Well, thank you for invitation. It was a
And
pleasure to talking with you.
We hope to see you when the festival happens.
And
Yeah.
that would be lovely. Thank you for invitation.
Thank you.